What up? What up? What up? How's it going, dude? How's it going? We got Morris in here, man. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. Let me pop the chat out, make sure everybody's here, make sure I get all the right windows going, and then I'm gonna start talking to y'all as much as possible. This is pretty much just gonna be like a just chat stream. I just want to talk to everybody. I like to make an appearance here and there and just stream spontaneously to see how everybody's doing. Morris, obviously, good to see you in here, man. How have you been? What you been up to? What have you been playing? That is the question, man. It's been a weird time lately, man. It's been a weird time. Let me pop my chat out and stick it right in my face so I can see you as soon as you chat. And we should be in good business. Do you like the new mic? Do you like the new setup? Do you like hopefully you like everything that's going on here, man. I've been trying to like there's been like small improvements as of lately that I've just been trying to just arrange the quality of my setups a little bit better. So there was some stuff that I clearly want to talk about like almost instantly. I'm going to pop my bookmarks out on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, definitely follow me on Twitter. Let me just pop my bookmarks out. Also, my Twitter's uncensored, so hopefully like this goes okay. I don't know how well this is gonna go. I should probably like change my privacy settings to like not show anything that it shouldn't show. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, let's. I really wanted to dig into some of the stuff that's been happening in video games. There's been some crazy stuff happening. I mean, I haven't seen consoles so down in my entire life. Like I haven't seen like it's been a long time since I've seen like both Xbox and PlayStation fumbling at identical times in such a way that like makes me question if like one of them's even winning or losing. Like I have no idea what's going on. Like PlayStation in one hand is like, dude, they're like, hey, we need to inflate the PSN accounts because now we're finally unloading all of our games onto PC because that's part of the business plan because we're not selling enough games. PlayStation had like openly said, I'm pretty sure that like they had like a business meeting where PlayStation underselling. I'm pretty sure that they're underselling right now. Um oh, of course it's blocked. Nothing's really going to be able to be googled about this, but I remember seeing something that was like, yeah, PlayStation's underselling and they're looking to port to PlayStation port to PC. Yeah. What are your predictions? Rumor the next 5 PC. So like PlayStation's clearly porting to PC, and the only reason why you would do that is if the PlayStation games aren't really doing very well, which they're clearly not doing very well. You know what I mean? I for the most part, I would say that PlayStation has had kind of a lull year. Like it hasn't been like the best year for PlayStation as of lately. I think PlayStation has every single tool to beat Xbox except for 2024's list of games because Xbox is winning against all odds in games. Yo, Adam, what's up, dude? It's good to see you. You've been asking for a live stream for quite some time. I actually had you in mind when I clicked live. I was like, I hope Adam pops through because like I just spontaneously stream sometimes, and this is just one of these times where I'm just gonna like pop up and just be like, hey, I'm live. I hope someone comes in and says hi to me because I'm more of a video creator nowadays than I am anything. Um, so I'm just gonna throw some music on and we could talk about some some of the most wild stuff I've seen in gaming in a long time, man. Like just to start off, can we just you saw a notification, it's been a while? Yeah, dude, it has been such a long time. It really has. It's been since Pal World, honestly. Pal World is really where I kind of like left off with streaming. And if I'm being honest with you, like I haven't had anything that like gravitated to me that I wanted to stream. I was going to stream Dragon's Dogma 2. I don't know if you guys would have been interested in that, but like I kind of just like played it just to play it. And it's been really, I'm going to be honest, it has been a long time since I have played a game just to play it and not try to like milk content out of it or try to like make a video or anything. Like I can just like literally like not turn on OBS and just play. And that was kind of good. It was a treat. Dragon's Dogma 2 was a treat. I don't know if you guys played it, but I genuinely enjoyed it. But I'm glad that you guys get excited when I hit live. It's good to hear that people get excited when I hit live, even if it's just a few of you. It's really important to me. Because I like live entertaining. I like making videos. I'm good at making videos, but you know, I don't want to like lose the muscle of being live and talking to the chat because I feel like that's something that I've been doing since 2019 and I don't want to lose it. I really want to get into this Bethesda closure because this whole Bethesda closure is just it's extremely sad. It really is. It's genuinely like one of the saddest things I've ever seen. So I'm going to scroll down until I can finally find something that had to do with the Bethesda. It's understandable. You got to make time for yourself overall. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I've had some stuff personally going on that like I just wanted to bring my full attention to as of lately in my personal life. So I just really wanted to make sure that I gave my full attention to like, friends and family that need me there. So that's another thing that like people don't usually talk about is that like I still work. I work like 40 plus hours a week. I also make videos. I do all of that. So Bethesda closure, that does not sound good? No. The Bethesda closure is weird because it's like on one hand I can see it. So let's crack an article open. So Bethesda Microsoft closes 4 Bethesda gaming studios including Arcane Austin. Now Arcane Austin, apparently this is the faction that made Redfall, which like sucks, right? And I get it. Arcane Austin and Tango Gameworks. Tango Gameworks made Hi-Fi Rush, right? And they're closing down one of the most successful games of last year. I'm pretty sure it got one of the best game of the year awards. I think it was for best soundtrack, which makes sense. I understand it to an extent that like sometimes you got to cut the luggage, but like why would you cut out one of the best third like Hi-Fi Rush was a hit Xbox needed, was the hit Xbox needed, and it wasn't enough for them. Yeah, essentially, yeah. Like this game was solid. Everybody enjoyed it. It got ported over to the Switch. People were actually upset when it was getting ported over to the Switch, and now Xbox is like, actually, we don't care at all. Like we got a Game of the Year award for the best soundtrack. It was under the Xbox name, and now we're just willing to like punt because what's really happening now is I think they're getting rid of this for the Fallout series. I genuinely do. The Fallout games are starting to get rehyped now and they're leaving. Yeah, well, these guys don't have anything to do with the Fallout series. This faction, like this little branch of Bethesda, has nothing to do with Fallout and everything to do with like little small quirky games like The Evil Within and Hi-Fi Rush and Tango Gameworks, which is kind of like a branch out from Bethesda. Essentially, it just made this game. It got a lot of awards. It got a lot of love, and now it's just like I guess it's just like the redhead stepchild. They're gonna kick it out because it's not one of those games. Like I feel like studios nowadays are kind of churning things into like I want Call of Duty, Fallout, Grand Theft Auto. I want like the colossal volcano exploding hits to come out of my studio. And if they don't, then like we need to like lay off all of the smaller studios to assure that all hands are on deck for the new games to come, like Fallout, Elder Scrolls 6, and other like I would say like safe games because safe games seem to be like what's working nowadays. You know what I mean? Like safe games really seem to be what they're buying these studios for. And to some degree I kind of get it because like why would you buy a game studio for millions of like I think they bought Bethesda for $25 million or 20 how much was it 25 million? I want to say billion. Microsoft buys Bethesda. I want to say it was 25 billion. 7 billion. 7 billion. That sounds about right. So they bought this studio for $7 billion. They're going to want to make that 7 billion back as soon as possible, right? What better way to do that than to milk the bigger names? And now that this game Fallout suddenly has a lot of people that like think the game is going to be amazing because of the show and whatnot. Um, I think that that's where this is all really coming from. I think the reignition of the Fallout series really put their focus on making Fallout 5. So like right now, this looks like we're grieving. We're grieving for Hi-Fi Rush and all of these other developers, but like Elder Scrolls and Fallout 5 are going to be the primary. Like they're going to make their money back tenfold. $7.5 billion. I mean, like they're gonna make that money back tenfold when Fallout and Elder Scrolls come out. But like, why are we letting these little pockets of studios that are making small little details? Like, wasn't Pal World a really good example of a game that isn't a AAA studio game that didn't spend a lot of money? They didn't like ride the coattails of any of these really big like names. They didn't. They could have made whatever they wanted to, but they made their own thing. I mean, obviously, it's like a mix of a lot of different games, but like, it's a successful game that doesn't already have an established IP. They made their own brand new thing and it sold better than I bet it sold. I bet that game sold better and did better than all of the Fallout games. I want to check that out. Pal World sales. So 35 this is by the million in the million. So it sold 35 million in 1 month. 1 million. I want to know like what's the sale? 15 million on Steam in a month. 15 million. But like I want to know the total sale. I don't want to know like 15 million in a month. I want to know like total sale. Pal World total sales. Okay, so it sold over 15 million units, and it's one of the best selling PC games. So I mean, like that alone, like yeah, Pal World sold better than all of the Fallout's did because all of the Fallout games are on Steam. That said, that game was a creative risk. Hi-Fi Rush was a creative risk. This did good. Pal World did good, but yet they're killing all of their small creative studios to assure that they're going to make sure that they have like the big banger Fallout 5 ready for us, which like I said, I suppose I understand it to a degree. I guess I kind of understand it, but to some level, we need to stop milking games for money. It degrades it, and they lose the potential. Simple example is Starfield. Yeah, Starfield in a lot of ways, in my opinion, I think that like it wasn't a safe bet, and I almost kind of tip the hat at Bethesda for making an attempt with Starfield. Like I don't want to like, I agree with what you're saying wholly. Like, I know exactly what you're saying is that, like, companies shouldn't just be looking to make the new IP of the already established safe bet. You know what I mean? That's why a new Call of Duty comes out every single year. And it's why, like, we get a new Assassin's Creed like every single year. But like, I think Starfield was interesting because what did Todd Howard say about Starfield? I think I bookmarked it. By the way, guys, you won't see anything sus in my bookmarks. I use my bookmarks for something completely different than what most people use their bookmarks for. Like if you ever see me bookmark something, it's not because it's like the spank bank. It's because like I'm interested in talking about it to you guys. Like for example, this is sick. This is complete. This is like if you go in that volcano, I guarantee you a superhero was made. Like lightning is just striking to the inside of a volcano right here. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like I'm waiting for like something to emerge from the volcano that's going to like save the world, right? It's going to solve all the crises inside of the Middle East and world hunger, and it's going to solve all the issues we have in the United States, and it's just going to like it's going to do really good, man. I'm just waiting for the superhero to come out. That's what I'm waiting for. It's also going to fix all the game studios like Bethesda and, Phil Spencer and what he has to do. But I know I bookmarked something about Starfield down here somewhere. I think it's because of like the friction of the smoke. I don't know, Mars. I think you're smarter than I am sometimes. I really do. Here we go. Oh wait, that's not it. Yeah, here it is. Todd Howard said that there's a mixed reaction of Star. No, he said, "Whoa!" I went all the way down. Can you guys see this? Even let me click on this post. I just want to make sure that you guys can see this. Yeah, you can. So it says in a recent interview, Bethesda's Todd Howard talked about the mixed receptions of Starfield, saying that while many had a good experience with the game, some players might prefer the way it was done in Fallout or Elder Scrolls. Right? I mean, no, we didn't like this game for multiple different reasons, and it's not because it wasn't Fallout or Elder Scrolls. Right? That's not it. This is exactly what it is. It was a disjointed space travel with non-existent maps, aggravating inventory management, and a slow rollout of essential abilities. That's that's actually like listen, I like Starfield. You guys watched me stream it on this channel for quite some time, right? I had a nice twist to it. I really enjoyed the story. Surprisingly, I enjoyed the story. I thought that, I think it's an overhated game and it's going to be a slow cooker. When this game gets a little bit bigger, people might actually start enjoying it like they did with Cyberpunk or like they're currently doing with Fallout 76. But, 3 words, excessive loading screens. Oh, dude, absolutely. Absolutely. And, like, to a degree, I can understand if somebody's like, "Hey, like, this is a 1,000 planet universe inside of your computer and or Xbox. Of course, you're gonna get loading screens." But I don't need a loading screen when I go into a different compartment in my ship or every single time I land. And, like, the same animation for docking every single time I dock got really annoying. I just didn't I think that the excessive amount of like fluff inside of the game, if you cut the loading screens and you cut the mandatory animations of like sitting up and get standing up after you're mounted in your pilot seat in your spaceship, then like the game would have went from a 35-hour game to like a 20-hour game. Like I genuinely believe that. You're totally spot on, Morris. Like and it's just like it's one of those deals where like this game wasn't good for a multitude of reasons, and suggesting the criticism stemmed from the game being different from the likes of Fallout and Skyrim. Actually, the game really just reminded me of Fallout and Skyrim in space. My major issues with this game, which by the way, I enjoyed Starfield, but my major criticisms to the game was like you said, the absolutely the loading screens. If you cut the loading screens, like I said, it probably would have went from a 35-hour game to a 20-hour game, maybe even 15. I think that there was a lot of issues inside of the game when it comes down to like the UI, which they've recently fixed. I really like how they have a map and they actually have markers on the map, but like congratulations, it took you a year and now you finally have markers on a map. Isn't that something that we established in Skyrim and Fallout? Like they already had those things in Fallout and Skyrim. In fact, it's just like we're missing quintessential pieces of an RPG that Fallout and Skyrim had. But with that said, like I still think that the game was a little overhated, and I overall like a review of 7 out of 10 is very, I would say it's fair. 6.5 to 7 out of 10 for Starfield is really fair. And anybody that argues that, I would say just didn't complete the game, because I feel like a lot of people in Starfield they had this issue where they started the game and you either approach Starfield one of two ways. You either approach Starfield like I'm playing No Man's Sky and I'm just essentially just going to explore all 1,000 planets, which you'll inevitably be disappointed from because it's a bunch. Those planets were like 1,000 meters wide, but 2 inches thin. Like there was no depth to them, but they were big, they were wide, they had a lot of space and lots of things that take you forever to navigate them, but there was nothing in them. There was no depth. And I think that that was one of the biggest issues with people that just started the game like No Man's Sky and then just ended up fizzling out of just like disinterest, or like they were really bored of the game instantly because the game didn't really have much depth beyond the story. And then once you start getting into the story, it actually, like most Bethesda games, kind of takes a little while to snowball. You know what I mean? Like you start off with this much, and by the end of the game, I think that you get a little bit more. Like there were a couple really good missions in that game that I thought were really cool. Like when you're phasing in and out of consciousness and you're playing on both sides, that was such like a Spielberg way of like introducing the other side. I thought that, spoiler alert, it was so fucking cool. But at the same time, I could go on for hours about Starfield and all of the issues with it. But yes, essentially safe games are going to be like Xbox's motto because they're trying to build their money back. And am I going to complain about that? Like probably not. I hate how big companies are just shooting down. Hold on. I hate how big companies are just shooting down their little dev crews. Upgrading graphics is only made games slapping a new number. Hold on, let me read this again. Sorry, Adam. I do agree with that. The first half of this. I mean, they are destroying little, and that's like it's destroying people's livelihood too. Like when you shoot down a company like Bethesda's like little branches, you're killing people that could, you're killing jobs and opportunity of creativity that could make the next Fallout or make the next Skyrim. Um it's that's what happens when you remove these people. I mean, like I bet there's, for every 1,000 people that they've laid off, there are 5 of them that have the potential to bring you the next Skyrim or the next Fallout. But it's not called Fallout or Skyrim, but it will be loved like those games if you give them the tools to make the game that they have in mind without having to worry about the bottom line and making your money back because you basically acquired a studio for a small fortune of $7 billion. And that's kind of what's happening. From a business perspective, I totally understand it because like businesses are here to make money. They're not here to give you a job. They're here to make a job for you. And if that job lasts, it lasts. And like that's the reality. It really is. But like that's a really shallow way to say like companies don't give a shit about you, and they don't. But they're doing so literally upgrading graphics on an already made on an already made game and slapping a new number on them at the end of the game. Yeah, I mean, like that's what Call of Duty did, isn't it? That's what Call of Duty did. I mean, essentially, Modern Warfare 3 is Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 2 is like I don't know what that game was, and I'm talking about Roman numeral because they forgot how to count and they don't realize that they're technically in Modern Warfare like 7 right now. But that's basically what Call of Duty does. I mean, Assassin's Creed is essentially doing something very similar right now, in my opinion. I think that Assassin's Creed releases a new game pretty frequently. And like all of these games, like Indiana Jones, and how many Star Wars games are we going to get? And like safe bets because they're attached to something that people have fandoms to. Like if Star Wars didn't have the fandom that Star Wars established for Ubisoft, they wouldn't be able to exploit this game the way that they are by pulling out missions and then selling them for a premium price outside of the base game. The extra planets had no attraction. I played Starfield all the way through. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you guys right now how many you're spot on that because I think that you're onto something because I maybe landed on I have 91 hours played on Starfield, guys. 91 hours played on Starfield. I'm not joking. Hold on, let me 91 hours played on Starfield. I maybe landed on 30 planets. 30. I would say 30. No more than 50. No more no more than 50 planets because I really only landed where I needed to and where it was appealing to me. Like if if there was something on a planet that had like something that was like interesting to me and like I happened to graze by it, I would. But it's like this is why I liked Dragon's Dogma 2 because Dragon's Dogma 2 is like a more it's an open world game, but it's like very it's like you traveling in like these already pre-made ravines and like these like you can tell that they're laying breadcrumbs for you and when you pick up the breadcrumbs it's rewarding when you explore outside of where those breadcrumbs are, but like to an extent. Like you're it's a really contained open world. And I think Dragon's Dogma 2 with the way that they made that not only was it a better experience than Starfield because I was rewarded for exploring and I didn't have to just like bunny hop across like 6,000 meters of nothingness to go grab like what like a amp spray and some 556, right? What did I pick up? I got and like when I do that in Dragon's Dogma, I might find like a fairy stone, or I might find like a weapon that I wanted, or I might find something that I absolutely needed. So like when you look at a game like Dragon's Dogma 2 that had essentially just it was like open world, but it was linear. It felt linear, although it wasn't, and I could go and do where I wanted to. It was guided, I should say, maybe not linear, but guided. It was a guided open world, and Starfield was a very unguided open world, which is where I think it failed. That's where I think Starfield just didn't do well. But going back to this, I'm feeling for a lot of the people in Bethesda Studios that have like these ideas because like Todd Howard, we all know why. I mean, like there's no we we didn't hear about these companies or like these little branches doing terrible or anything that was going to be like a really bad, you know, disadvantage for keeping them. Like there was no reason to let go of these companies, in my opinion. Now I don't know what Phil is up to or like what he's cooking, but more likely than not, he's investing in what's good. So these are the failures for PlayStation or for Xbox. Essentially, I think that the massive layoffs are just they're ridiculous. They really are. Like you're messing with like people have kids. They're going home to children and they want to do what they want for a living. It's crazy. And like Bloomberg reportedly that Xbox is not done cutting costs. There's more cuts on the way, says Bloomberg. Like they're also recording that Microsoft executives started to further scrutinize the Xbox division after the $70 billion purchase of Activision. So yeah, they bought more and bit off more than they could obviously chew. That just seems like that just seems like what it is. And it just seems like, hold on. Microsoft, Blizzard, Activision, no layoff promise. Feds say that Activision layoff violates promise that Microsoft made in the merger deal. I completely agree. The FTC ignores the reality that the deal itself is substantially changed. I agree. In the very beginning of this entire process, when they were being reviewed for even having this merger and even being able to have the acquisition pushed through, was that they weren't going to lay off the employees that they were going to absorb. And I've seen more layoffs than I've seen Microsoft exclusives as of March or May 2024. We're 5 months in, we're almost halfway in, and I've seen more layoffs than I've seen games. That doesn't make sense, especially when, the initial the FTC isn't happy about Blizzard Activision layoffs. And let's just talk about I mean, like, yeah, so the layoffs weren't a prerequisite to the Bethesda $7.5 billion purchase because I think that they didn't get any pushback from the FTC or any type of like trade exchanges. But like they just laid off more people because it's essentially it's going to become their motive. It's like I think that companies are going to be less like hypothetically, like think of it this way, like what if Microsoft for some reason had this crazy ability to buy Take-Two Studios, right? I don't think that anyone in the world right now would be excited about that. Like think about it like Grand Theft Auto 6 might be on Game Pass. That's the best case scenario if they happen to absorb Take Two or Rockstar, right? They buy a $230 billion appraised purchase of Rockstar. Nobody's happy about that. We all know that they're going to be laying off so many people. We all know that they're just going to milk the microtransactions and Rockstar is essentially not going to make any of these breakout games like Red Dead Redemption 2 like or like any games that Rockstar has made outside of Grand Theft Auto, right? Because they're just going to milk the Grand Theft Auto series. Microsoft is giving themselves a bad name, man. Microsoft is giving themselves a terrible name. Eventually, PlayStation is going to win because Xbox is introducing nothing but new, while PlayStation has new but risky content. But the risky content is now safe. I mean, like Helldivers is a good example. Helldivers is a really good example. But I mean, alternatively, you could say that Palworld is also a really good example of being risky but successful. But ultimately, I think that PlayStation is just way more consumer friendly, even though Xbox Game Pass exists. Because Xbox Game Pass is, I think it's failing. Like, what if Game Pass isn't failing? Then explain to me how all these layoffs are happening. You get what I'm saying? Like Xbox Game Pass subscribe count 2024 seems to be going up to me. The number of subscribers of Xbox Game Pass as of February 2024. So this is 2020, 2021, 2022. This looks like 2023 is lumped in with 2024. It grows to 34 million subscribers. How long ago was this? February 15th. Has it grown since February? Because I feel like Starfield and Palworld boosted that thing up, right? Starfield and Palworld absolutely boosted it up. But is this hurting them? Because like I know Hi-Fi Rush was on the Game Pass. Did nobody buy Hi-Fi Rush, and that's why they had to sell it to Switch? Is that why ultimately they had to turn the studio upside down? Was because nobody bought the game actually? Like I just can't see any like conclusive evidence is that saying that like Game Pass is helping and buying the game isn't helping the studio. Like, should we be buying Hellblade 2? I don't want to make a point about that for PlayStation unless I know for sure Xbox doesn't. Yeah, it's a good point. The hardest way of making 1,000 planets is naming them when they weren't just copy and paste color change. Yeah, I mean, like, dude, AI can definitely do that. Just ask Chat GPT to name a bunch of planets in some weird Latin format, and I guarantee you that's what that happened, dude. That game just felt so disingenuous. I'll just do their homework for you. Yeah, but oh man, it seems like corruption on one side is like so Xbox just to sum Xbox up, they bit off more than they can chew, so it seems. They're already going to be laying off new they're already going to be laying people off. It seems as if they're already it seems like they're already kind of regretting the big acquisitions that they've made that have caused up to maybe like close to $80 billion worth of debt that they're trying to buy back by essentially making safe bets and not making any creative risks outside of like the accidental third party purchase of Pal World, which just seemed like a really good one. I, Tango was making a Hi-Fi Rush sequel. Xbox shut them down. No shot. No shot. Tango Gameworks pitched a Hi-Fi Rush sequel before its sudden shutdown. Report Tango Gameworks was in the process of making a sequel and wanted to hire additional staff before its sudden closure, according to the Bloomberg report. The report sheds additional light on the closures to Tango Game Report and Redfall developer, which we didn't get into, but you know, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Um, Arcane Austin, who also got shut down, claims that Xbox leadership of the overall studio was spread too thin, and the president, Matt Booty, reportedly liking to the peanut butter on bread. Um, Understaffing isn't peanut butter on bread. It's just making a bread sandwich and you don't really taste any peanut butter, Matthew Booty. Anybody that's worked in corporate America understands that like when someone says they're being spread thin, you don't compare that to a sandwich because like that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that they can't get their fucking work done, dude. That's why Redfall inevitably failed. You pulled them from one giant project to another. Basically, that's what happened. Like I don't know if anybody knows that about Redfall's demise, but they essentially pulled them from one game that they thought really worked really well, and then they had like 3 or 4 vision changes to Redfall. They thought it was supposed to be something that it wasn't. They made the changes. They made people basically flip the curtain and change everything that they were doing multiple times. A lot of the studio leads got burnt out because they got put on like a 6 year to another like I think it was like a 3 year, so 9 years of essentially working on almost kind of a similar game under extremely stringent deadlines. When your leadership leaves, everybody under your leadership has kind of like they don't really know what they're doing. It's ended up just being a terrible product because of misdirection. Congratulations, Morris. I just hope that you don't don't end up like anybody and don't spend it in the wrong places because I see a lot of these streamers out there just doing it wrong, man. I feel like you're going to do it right. You're going to be the next Mr. Beast and I know it. They're gonna make they're gonna make a sequel. Yeah, like I hope they do make a sequel. Honestly, I do. I mean, like it wouldn't make sense to not make a sequel of Hi-Fi Rush, regardless of like the disclosure. Um, like it wouldn't surprise me at all. This was a very well put together game. I didn't play it. I've been waiting to get on like a nice long plane ride so I could play it on Switch. Now that it's going on Switch, admittedly, like I'm not gonna buy it on PlayStation or I'm not gonna buy it on Xbox or Game Pass. I'm gonna buy it on a Switch because that's where I like to do a lot of like my games for like the smaller games. Like I want to play Little Nightmares 3. I'm probably going to play that on Switch. Like a lot of the smaller games I want to play on handheld because I'm on airplanes quite a bit. But yeah, the Xbox's giant L, our real takeaway from this is that Xbox is just losing because they're absorbing more than they can handle and it seems like they're trying to trim fat, but the fat is it's not fat. It's they're necessary ingredients, you know? No, it's how many of these like I said, how many of these developers in 1,000, like if you laid off 1,000 of them, how many had the potential to give you the next Skyrim, Fallout, the next like big game. And instead of investing all this money into you bottlenecking to make sure that I know Elder Scrolls 5 comes out or like, Fall or 6 comes out and Fallout 5 comes out, why are you not letting people be creative? It's stifling. It's just stifling new series and new IPs from coming out. So let's move into PlayStation, guys. Actually, before we move into PlayStation, let's talk about Hellblade because Xbox, while they're obviously cutting, like Xbox is cutting a bunch of games out. Because I feel like we should just dig into Xbox a little bit more because Xbox. So they're doubling and tripling down on games like Call of Duty. They said no to making a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, right? Activision Blizzard wanted to make another Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. They said no and then put all of those resources into making the next Call of Duty. I personally would rather have a new Tony Hawk game than play another Call of Duty, especially because the multiplayer is basically just like an unlock attachment simulator and it has really no life to it anymore. I think they should just make the Call of Duty titles free. I think Call of Duty Warzone and the multiplayer should both be live service games. They should never be premium titles and they should both be on the Xbox Game Pass with like perks. Like you should be able to get extra perks for having it on Xbox Game Pass. Like you can unlock like premium skins for having Game Pass and being a subscriber, stuff like that. But I think that both of them should be free live service games because I'm not buying that shit. Nobody's buying that. Apparently, everybody's buying that shit, but it just doesn't make sense because this is why they acquired Hellblade developer Ninja Theory for $117 million. Chump change compared to Bethesda. By the way, I just want to point out they bought Bethesda for $7 billion. They bought this for like a fourth less. Like they bought this for like a fraction of what they bought that from. And this is piss in a pot compared to what they bought Blizzard Activision for, right? But then when you look, they have this game Hellblade 2, and Hellblade 2 looks incredible. Like, I don't know if you guys have been like following this game very closely, but this game looks absolutely
We will embrace our suffering, soothe our scars of grief, and break their siege of our minds. You may see them as gods, but we will show you what lies behind their eyes.
audio design is crazy. It's like ASMR, dude. The whispers are wild.
To risk your own life for what you believe is your sacrifice to make. To lead others to death brings a different...
Look at the embers flying up. You can still see the smoke.
would have to learn to bear.
The water looks absolutely perfectly real.
Look at the bones. Look at the bones. That's going to be you. That's going to be everyone. No one's ever killed a giant before. What makes you think you can stay down?
Those whose eyes are clouded by fear are besieged by the ghosts that haunt them. Senua saw that to win the war we must break this siege. Break it with an unshakable truth. Break it with an impossible feat.
So they got this beautiful looking game, Hellblade 2. They're tripling and quadrupling down on games like Call of Duty because they're obviously more lucrative. They wanted to make They even wanted to make like I said, they wanted to make a Tony Hawk game, Tony Hawk 1 and 2, I believe it was. Activision completely shut that down. Activision got shut down by Microsoft for making that because they put all of those resources into making a new Call of Duty. So, they acquired this studio for $117 million, right? And then like let's look at how much Xbox is advertising this game, right? This game has been we've known about this game for a very long time now. So we have a showcase coming up. Okay, that's good. Um Destiny 2, that's literally a Sony IP. This is okay, cool. So we have a little bit. I mean, all they did was repost Ninja Theory, which was the developer of Hellblade 2. So they reposted something of them. I'm sure that helped them in the algorithm. It got 124,000 eyes on it. That's pretty good, but like at the same time, it's not quite marketing as much as it is just like helping out the studio for their marketing. Like Xbox themselves, this doesn't count as marketing from Xbox in my opinion. It just counts as supporting the developer, which by the way you should because you bought them. Um, what will you be playing? Okay, so I saw a little flash of Hellblade 2 right there. But like this is also just like this is fluff marketing in my opinion. It's really just showing what's coming out for the next month that it's going to be coming out in like flashes and it doesn't really explain anything. Um Not helping. This is marketing. Hellblade 2, May 21st. And literally a screenshot of just like what? Of what? Is there anything like subliminal in here? Is there anything that's going to give away like any like really cool info about the game? There's no like Easter eggs here. No, there's nothing. Nothing is happening here. Nothing. Star Wars Outlaws. Okay, so in Ubisoft, you guys don't even own it. I guess it was a May 4th type thing, but I know that on Game Pass you actually have Star Wars was it the new Jedi game. I know that that's on Xbox Game Pass, so they're probably riding the Star Wars a little hard for that. Not Hellblade, not Hellblade, not Hellblade. May the fourth be with you. Yes, so Jedi Survivor is on Game Pass. May the fourth be with you. So we've got like 5 Star Wars tweets now. Hellblade. Okay, cool. This is helpful information. But again, it's tweeted from PC Game Pass. It's not Xbox directly. Fortnite. Looks like a gear shop. So we should all be buying our Xbox merch. Elder Scrolls Online because of the Bethesda buyout. A sale. So we got like Persona 3 online there. Airbnb. A sweepstakes. MotoGP. Call of Duty. Jedi Survivor for the 6th time. Fortnite. Airbnb again. Ninja Theory, but a retweet. And again, I don't think that this is this is clearly supporting their developer by retweeting it. I mean, like I'm sure that Xbox has a multitude of followers that really helped this out. This got almost 200,000 views. Obviously this really helped them out a lot. But this is on April 30th, right? So let's keep going. Another retweet. Call of Duty again. Where are they? Where's the marketing for this game? Like, where's the real marketing? Like, where's like the trailer breakdown? Where's the developer interview? Where's the developer? Where are they going to highlight the game? Where are they going to show us like what's great about it? I mean, here we go again with Fallout because the Fallout hype is here. This is going to be a good game, actually. I really think that's going to be fun. Publisher sale, another Fallout tweet. This is definitely a Fallout tweet. Minecraft. The 7th time we have seen Star Wars on here, and it's just because EA's Jedi Survivor is on the Game Pass. Fallout, Forza, Remnant, Fallout, Overwatch, Destiny, again. There's no marketing for this game. I'm seeing they're not helping this game at all. So this is going to be another one of these things where like they're clearly making a very good game. Like this looks really cool. Is it going to be 7 hours or like 10 hours or whatever long? Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's going to be small. The game's not going to be a huge, massive game. That said, it's going to be like, I think it's like $40 or it's free if you're a Game Pass subscriber. So, I mean, win there. That's a major win. Well, why are we not promoting it? And when this game fails, when this game fails, when this game doesn't hit the marker, I should say, I wouldn't say it's going to fail because people are excited for it, surprisingly, despite the lack of marketing. They're probably going to like absolve this place. Like the studio is no longer going to be with is never going to be a Microsoft product again. If here we go, Ninja Theory, April 16th. And again, it's just like Ninja Theory seems to be like spearheading all of the marketing for this game. And Xbox is essentially just retweeting it. You own this company. You guys own this company. Show some ownership. God damn, dude. I can repeat. I retweet people that I don't own the product of every day. Fallout, 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 Fallout. God damn. Yeah, dude, they definitely pulled that studio from under our feet so they can make the next Fallout game. Guys, expect the next Fallout game to come in like a considerably faster pace than it was before. So I'm going to move into PlayStation, and PlayStation is actually surprisingly a little bit more straightforward. I think that what happened here with PlayStation is actually kind of like it makes a little bit more sense than what Xbox is doing because at least they're not destroying people's lives except for this guy. So an Arrowhead community manager was fired after encouraging Helldivers to review bombing and refunds. Like, okay, so like if you're the refunds is where I draw the line. The review bomb obviously worked and it made the parent company pull back their decision. But if you're going to make people refund the product that's feeding your fucking family, then like, yeah, expect some pushback. Like, it's one thing to review bomb, it's a completely different to encourage people to refund. I mean, oh man, speaking to the players Helldivers 2 Discord server with the community manager in question is now implied that with their employment that the Arrowhead has every war comes with its casualties. Responding to the question, oof. Community manager finally beat its swords into the plowshares of the finding. Okay. Turns out telling people to review bomb and refund a game isn't a popular decision with the publisher. Yeah, I guess not. But I'm still here and I'm glad that we all made a difference. The community manager stopped actively posting on the Helldivers 2 Discord after Saturday. Early this morning, Spritz returned, saying almost not quite. So he did. He got fired for basically telling people to refund. Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen. But that's also what's going to happen when you force people to sign up for an account that nobody wants to sign up for. Number one, you didn't do it upfront when people were asking about this game like upfront. They're like, when you first download a game, you think like, what are the requirements? As a PC player, I think like, what are the requirements? First, system requirements. What account do I need to log into? What do I need to get this game running? After that's done, I don't ever want to do that again. I don't ever want to do that again. So I completely relate to people that were doing that out of like an inconvenience, but the inconvenience was 10 minutes and the review bomb was also probably 10 minutes. And principle is principle, but inevitably people got removed from being able to play the game that they already purchased overseas. There were like 140 countries that people couldn't buy the game or people couldn't play the game that they bought anymore. And yeah, that's not good. But Ghost of Tsushima is very different, right? Ghost of Tsushima is very, very different because they're telling people like right up front. They're like, guys, listen, we saw what happened with Helldivers 2. Yes, you're going to need a PlayStation Network account, but only to play the multiplayer mode. The single player mode will not require it, right? So if you want to play Ghost of Tsushima on a PC network, then unfortunately, you're still going to need one. I signed up for a PlayStation Network account just so I could play this online with anybody that wanted to play with me, and it took 5 minutes, guys. I timed it. It took 5 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. And if if you're region locked out of playing a game online, then like at least you know it beforehand, right? At least you know it before you buy the game, you get invested in the game, 3 months passes by, and then you're like, hey, by the way, you can't play this game anymore because we actually revoked our opinions. We thought that this was going to work out, but at the end of the day, we realize that PC players more likely than not don't have PlayStation Network accounts, and it would look really good if our shareholders saw a huge inflation of the network of PSN accounts that went up because of, working with PC. So if you work with us, we're going to continue to port games, and I'm kind of okay with that. Like, I'm okay with the concept of, like, if I had to sign up for a third party login, that I will be allowed more PlayStation games because, well, frankly, I just want to play more PlayStation games on my PC. You have the game too? Yeah, I mean, like, I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. Like, the more PlayStation games that we get on PC, the more that they're going to expect us to have that login from the PlayStation Network. And, like, I think we're all going to have to eventually rip the band-aid off. It's just the way that they went about it with Helldivers 2 was very anti-consumer. Not only did they kick people that already owned their game out of the game, that enjoyed the game for several months before that they were inevitably ripped out of it, but I also think that there was like a disconnect with, like, being real with your consumer. It was like, okay, you guys enjoy this game quite a bit, and we're gonna let you guys enjoy this game quite a bit. And, by the way, we're gonna block you guys from doing it unless you do what we want you to do because we're the publisher. Oh, now we see what happens when you try to fuck with your fans because 200,000 negative reviews hit you, and that's kind of how the world works. You know what I mean? We spoke in numbers, and I saw some people that were like really upset by that. Like there's actually PlayStation fans that are like, "Oh, you guys are babies. You guys are No, we're not. We're not going to roll over because of the idea that, like, you guys are just going to spring this necessary requirement on us last second. Like, it doesn't work like that. But in this case, I think that in this case, I definitely believe Ghost of Tsushima did it correctly. Ghost of Tsushima 100% is doing this right. And if you guys have a problem with what Ghost of Tsushima is asking of you, then I don't want to hear you ever playing a Ubisoft game on Steam, a Blizzard Activision game on Steam, an EA game on Steam, or any other games on Steam that requires some form of a third party login. And I don't want to hear about, like, the PlayStation security, blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever, dude. Security is really important, but, like, that's why we have, like, these authenticators. That's why PC players have, like, your Steam authenticator, and we have lots of ways of protecting ourselves. There's no way that you're putting a debit card into a PSN account when you already have a Steam account that's buying the games. So you have really no reason to be purchasing like anything in the PSN store. So there's no need to use your credit card, which means if your email gets stolen, dude, do you know how many people you give your email a day? Like, it's not that big of a deal. It genuinely isn't. So the whole deal that's happening here with PlayStation, I think, is way less of an issue than what Xbox is doing because in a lot, I think that PlayStation, to sum things up, I think PlayStation fucked with their consumers, and I think the PlayStation messed with their consumers, but Xbox is messing with the livelihood of their creatives. And I think that if I have to sum everything up today, PlayStation, they did take an L. They were being greedy. They wanted to inflate the number of PlayStation Network accounts because PC owners don't have PlayStation Network accounts, so they can appease their stockholders, right? Xbox is essentially doing everything that I think is wrong with gaming, which is bottlenecking to the best, most selling, most sellout franchise they can possibly make for a quick buck so they can make their money back. I don't like that at all because it messes with people's livelihoods. The review bomb wasn't an overreaction. The sign up request had come out of nowhere and it was too late to be responsible. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. No, I'm right there with you. I think that, like, I think if people act the same way about Ghost of Tsushima, that it will be an overreaction. I think that if people are still upset about Ghost of Tsushima, even though you can play it single player, you can play it with a PSN account with, like, months in advance of being able to, hey guys, like, that we all knew this going into the game, right? We all knew that in order to play Ghost of Tsushima online, you need to have a PSN account linked to your Steam account. And if you don't like that, well, then just don't buy the game and we won't spring it on you later. That is reasonable. That is completely normal. And anybody that has an issue with this is just basically being a crybaby. And if you play Ubisoft games, EA games, or Blizzard games on Steam and you get upset about, Like, I don't want to hear about it. I really don't. If you already play like games that require a third party login. But yeah, the review bomb was awesome. I think the review bomb is that's exactly what I was looking for when it came down to it, man. It's exactly what I was hoping for. I mean, this was a martyr, right? So PlayStation lost one job. Um, this guy killed how many jobs, right? End of the day, Xbox, in my opinion, took the biggest L. PlayStation, although I don't really see much happening with PlayStation as of right now, I'd like to see Helldivers become on. I like to see Helldivers get on Xbox. I'd like to see Pal World. I'd like to see Pal World get on PlayStation, and I think it's a fair trade because I think Pal World is going to be a good investment game. I think that there's going to be a culture springing from Pal World. I think as long as Pal World continues to chunk out and do the right things, that people will be back. And Helldivers, you know, despite their controversy, which leaves a huge blemish on the franchise, is still something that Xbox fans are interested in. But yeah, the review bomb, Adam, I completely agree. I completely agree, man. Oh shit, John, be safe, homie. Yeah, that's really just like the sum of what I wanted to talk about today, guys. I really just wanted to get down and talk about like a lot of the things that were happening with like Ghost of Tsushima, but like Ghost of Tsushima, Helldivers, and all this. I also wanted to talk about this because Xbox is worried about how happy the CEO is. PlayStation is worried about how the fan. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Phil Spencer is necessarily happy about what's happening as of lately. Like, I think that Phil Spencer's like no, but I don't know of any CEO that's like happy about major layoffs. But at the same time, like you could have you could have won about. I don't know what the back end of this is. I really don't. I'm sure that this is. If I had to guess, if I was a gambling man, I would say these layoffs from Bethesda were shutting down studios to then hire more developers or bottleneck fast forward Fallout 5 because of the newfound, you know, love for these Fallout games. Um Nobody likes doing that. Those are hard decisions to make. Um and you know, in a way PlayStation they didn't absorb another company. So they have a little bit more wiggle room in like their creativity. But you're right. PlayStation is really I think they're they're more fan oriented. They are. But on some positive news, I wanted to show this. This game looks sick. So I've been watching I've been keeping an eye on this specific game for quite some time now. I've been following them on I've been following this game specific. I know, dude, they didn't even drop the name. Hold on, let me pull up my Steam because I've been actually been following it on Steam for a while. What is the name of this game? Because I was really excited when I found out that this game is going to be on the Xbox Marketplace, and I've been watching these guys do their thing for quite some time now. Hypercharge. This game looks pretty solid. It was supposed to release. Already have it on Steam. I think I already have this game on Steam. This game would be a good battle royale. So you're basically an action figure in the size that you would be if you were a toy, fighting inside of like normal everyday environments, like a backyard or a bathroom. You know, you got your toy store. Looks like Andy's room, right? An arcade. It's on the Unreal Engine. It's unique. So explore the history and the lore of Hypercharge through the 90s. Learn about Max Ammo's past. So they're pulling in on a lot of lore, which makes sense. It's got a very positive review ratio. You can literally download a demo for free. I'm pretty sure that you can play it online with your friends. The game looks like it's going to be pretty solid, and it's coming to Xbox. I think that this is going to be yet another example of like this game is probably going to blow up on Xbox. And again, Xbox is bottlenecking all of their interest in like the larger IPs when games like this exist that I know that people would be excited about. Like Hypercharged unbox gameplay. I have been. Yeah, so this is. This is like a 90s it's like a 90s cartoon.
Welcome to the world of Hypercharge.
That's not a Goku knockoff.
Defend, survive. Play single player with bots or co-op and split screen with friends.
Split screen, dude. You know that these guys are going OG.
Customize your action figure.
Listen, I'm going to call this right now. It's going to be a hot take. This game would kill with a battle royale. This game would be amazing if they added a battle royale to it. If this game doesn't have a battle royale, in my opinion, it's a complete miss. You absolutely need to add a battle royale. Like some games don't deserve battle royales, right? Like let's name some games that don't like need battle royales. Gears of War, Valorant, CS:GO, Quake. There's games that don't need a battle royale. This game needs a battle royale. I don't care what anybody says. It's not every game needs one. It's just a miss if they don't make one, because this, like just watching this gameplay, looking at these maps, looking at the gunplay, the customization, you can change the skins of, you can literally change the skins. I mean, like imagine just like fighting in a house. Like that's your battle royale map, right? You've got house, you got this house, you got the bathroom, you've got the kitchen, you've got 2 bedrooms, you've got the stairs, you've got a living room, and that's your battle royale. Like that's your area, right? That's like map 1. And then like another one could be like a toy store for like map 2. And like even like a resurgent style would be really cool. This would be a absolute sick battle royale. If they don't make a battle royale in this game, I would be extremely sad. But all right, guys, I just wanted to chat it up with you guys for a little bit. A lot's been happening in the gaming sphere, and I just wanted to like, you know, go live every once in a while, man. I really wanted to go live every once in a while and just like talk to you guys, get a little chat in before, you know, the next stream or the next big game that's going to be happening sometime soon. I think what should the next game that what should I stream next? Like what game should I like hop on and actually like dial through with you guys? Like with like Adam and Morris and everybody that's usually in here. What games should be like mandatory for me to stream? Because there's quite a few coming out in the near future. I think Hellblade might be a good one, but that's like a really story driven game, and I feel like a lot of people don't watch story driven games because there's going to be some spoilers, and like if the story is the entire game, then like I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. So If you guys were going to play Hellblade 2, then I would suggest not watching me stream it. Like experience that game for yourself. Um, ordinarily I would say to do that, but let me know. I would definitely be down to stream Nintendo Switch games and anything that's on Steam. So, all right, guys, Adam, Morris, everybody that's in here, I appreciate y'all. I'm going to stop now. I'm out for the stream. Peace. Everybody have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Helldivers, if I have it. Yeah, but I don't have a PSN account. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, man. I mean, I might stream some Helldivers. Helldivers might be really fun. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Cool. Yeah, Helldivers wouldn't be a bad stream idea. I'll put up a poll. All right, keep your eye on the community feed, and we'll see what everybody thinks that I should stream next. And I'm gonna weigh in Helldivers. I'll give Helldivers my vote for you, so we get 2 votes Helldivers because I kind of want to play it. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace. Everybody have a good night.